For Chapter 5, we're going to look at creating a bank reconciliation in Excel. So we're going to start with a blank document, and in cell A1 we're going to type in the name of our company, which is City Music World. A2 we're going to type in what type of a report we're doing, which is a bank reconciliation. And then our date is December 31, 2016. Now notice when we typed in the date it automatically changed. Okay, so we need to come up and pick the right date. Oh, we're going to have to go to more number formats and scroll down and find the right date setting there. Step 3, they want us to choose A1 to G3. Click on the arrow next to merge and center and merge it across. And these are all skills we've learned in previous chapters. And then we're going to click on the center button to center it right in the middle. Step 4, we're going to type in some data. So A5, we want to say the beginning bank balance. E5, beginning book balance. A6, add. E6, add. A9, deduct. And E9, deduct. Step 5 wants us to select columns A and E and set the column width to 24. I use my right click button. You can go up into format, the format button right here, whichever way you want to do it. And then step 6 wants column D to have a width of 1. So again, this is just one of those placeholders to give some space between the numbers in the next section. Step 7, cell C5 tells us that our beginning bank balance was $35,550. So we're going to type that number into that box. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open a second file, and we're going to use these two files together. Okay, so we're going to use these two files at the same time in order to pull information from one file to the other. So I'm going to come up here and go to File, Open, and navigate to Chapter 5. And we're looking for EA5 D1 QB report. And QB stands for QuickBooks. So here we're looking at our QuickBooks report. You may have to click Enable Editing if you have that box that pops up. Step 9, we're going to go to View. We're going to go to View. In the Windows section, we're going to click on Arrange All. Choose Vertical, and then click OK. So what we've done is we've taken our two Excel spreadsheets and put them side by side. So the one on the left is the QuickBooks report. The one on the right is the one that we are in the process of creating. Okay, so we're going to go to cell A10 on the one that we're creating. We're going to type in outstanding checks. Okay, and we're going to make a list of our outstanding checks. Now, if we look on the QuickBooks side, it tells us this, we're actually going to scroll over here to the right. It tells us over here that our credits are where we take money out of our account. We know that from doing basic journal transactions. Over here we have a CLR column and we have some check marks. The CLR stands for clear. That means that the ones with check marks have cleared the bank, which means that this one has not cleared the bank. This check has not cleared the bank. And this check has not cleared the bank. So we need to take care of those checks that have not cleared the bank. Okay. So in the QuickBooks report window, click on cell N6. So we're going to go to cell N6 and click and drag its contents to cell B10. So I'm going to put my mouse on the edge. It turns into a four-pointed arrow. And I'm going to click and drag and drop this one into B10. Okay. Now when I did that, it erased it from my QuickBooks account over here, and that's okay. I'm going to show you what we're going to do here in a minute. In the box, it tells us that we're going to take cell N8 and N8, okay. So N8 is this check that we wrote for water, and we're going to click and drag and put it in cell B11. And then the last one is N10, and that one's going to go in B12. Okay. Now, the next thing it tells us is cell O14 to cell G5. Okay, so if we go to O14 and drag it over here to G5, okay, we get the number to appear. Now, if you got zeros to appear there, then we can paste just the value. And actually, we're going to go ahead and do that. So delete that, what we just put in G5. If you notice, when we did this, it also copied the formatting. So we're going to come up here and go to Cells, Format, oh, sorry, wrong one, Editing, Clear is what I was looking for. And we're going to go to Clear All. So what we're going to do to this 33,344 is we're going to copy this. So click on cell O13 and click on your copy button, or you can right click copy it, or however you want to do that. Go to cell G5 and you can right click, and one of these paste options, and you can see as you put your mouse on them it tells you what they do. One of them says paste values. Okay, it's the clipboard with the 1, 2, 3. Click on it, and what it did was it just pasted the number. It didn't paste the equation, it didn't paste the lines, it didn't paste the formatting, it only pasted the number. Okay, so we can paste just the value. Now we're going to come back over here to our QuickBooks report and close this one and click Don't Save. Remember when we clicked and dragged those numbers, we actually pulled the numbers out of the QuickBooks report. By clicking Don't Save, those numbers will still be in there. Okay. Step 16, it wants us to select the row 7 header and drag to the row 8 header. And what we're going to do is insert another row here. We have some things that we need to put in here, and we need a little bit more space. So if I right click here, I can click on Insert, and it will give me 2 more rows because I had 2 rows highlighted. So we're going to go to cell B7. Now we pulled data from the QuickBooks report just by looking at them side by side and clicking and dragging. Now I'm going to show you how to pull data from a file. Okay. So in cell B7, we're going to come up here on your ribbon and click on the word Data. There's a section that says Get External Data, and we're going to click From Text. When we do that, a box pops up. Now sometimes we have our data stored in a text document, like a Word document, as opposed to an Excel spreadsheet, and that's what you're going to use this Get Text for. And we're going to choose EA5D1. You may have to navigate to it if it's in a different folder. I'm going to double click on that, and it gives me this wizard that pops up, the step-by-step wizard. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is where it says Set Import at row 1. We're going to change that to row 2. Because row 1 probably has some headings in it. Okay, and actually we can see down here that it does. Deposit date and amount. Row 1 has headings. So we want to start pulling data from row 2. We're going to click Next. We're going to leave this one as it is. And excuse me, this one just tells us how our columns are being separated. In our situation, it's by a tab. So we can click Next. Now, we don't want the date. Okay, so right here, this first column, this date column is highlighted. So we're going to click Do Not Import Column. We also do not want this column because there's nothing in that column. So we're going to click Do Not Import Column. The last column is the one that we want. Okay, so we can go ahead and click Finish. And then in this box, we're going to click OK. It's saying, where do you want to put the data? We want to put it right where our button is clicked. So we click OK, and it pulls the data from that text document. So it shows that we had 3 deposits that we, 3 things that we had put into the bank account that hadn't cleared yet. We're going to go to cell A7. And we're going to type in here deposits in transit, because those are things that we've put deposited into the bank, but we have not, they haven't shown up on our bank statement yet. I'm going to skip over to page 136. Again, you can take the time to read through the text if you would like. Page 136, now we're going to look at we're going to look at some styles that we're going to apply to different cells just to make them look a little better. Okay. So before we do that, we're going to enter some more data. We're going to E7 and we're going to type in notes receivable. Again, I'm on page 136 and following, I'm on step 2. So I'm going to go to G7 and notes receivable was for $1,400. E12 is going to say NSF check. E13 is the bank charges that we're going to deduct. And E14 is going to say check error. Okay. So now F12 is going to be for $528. So we had an NSF check, an insufficient funds check for $528. F13 is $150, so we had bank charges of $150, and a check error of $300. Okay, we're going to pop back over here on the left, and we're going to go to cell C9. In C9, we're going to put an equation to add those 3 deposits. So it's going to say equals sum of, so equals sum, the beginning parenthesis, B7, which is where that $800 is, to B9, and press enter. Now we're going to take this cell and we're going to copy it. And we're going to paste it to C14 and G14. Now when we did that, because we just clicked on paste, it pasted the equation, and again remember everything is relative, so it automatically changed the equation to match where we pasted it to include the cells next to it. Now we're going to C10, and in C10 we have to take our beginning bank balance $35,550 and add our deposits in transit, so we get equals, and they're going to use the sum function again, C5 to C9, and press enter, and we get $38,600. We're going to copy that one and paste it to G10. Now going to C15, we need to take C10 and we need to subtract the sum of our outstanding deposits. So equals C10, whoops, minus C14. And again, we're going to copy that one and paste it over in G15. We're going to go to A15, type in adjusted bank balance. And E15 is going to say adjusted book balance. Now we know that for a bank reconciliation, our final goal is to make these two numbers equal, which they do. Now, next step is to make this look good, so we're going to go to cell C5. We're going to change this, so click on Home. Change this to the accounting. They want you to change it to the accounting. Of course, we're going to grab the comma style and decrease the decimal twice. Right here on the clipboard section, there's a button that says Format Painter. Okay, double click the Format Painter and then click on all of the cells that have numbers in them. Now you'll notice that even before we did this, some of those cells had dollar signs, pound keys in them. We're going to fix that in just a minute. We're going to turn this Format Painter off. You can press your Escape key or just click on it and that will go off. We're going to click on the letter B and drag to the letter C. So we're highlighting columns B and C. We're going to do the same for F and G. So we have B, C, F, and G are selected. And this is going to fix all those pound signs. Come over here between B and C and double click. And our columns automatically resize to fit our numbers. Okay. We need to put some underlines on here so we can show where it is we're doing math. So we're going to grab cell C9, hold down your control key, C14, keep holding it, G7 and G14, and we're going to put a bottom border on there. Go to cell C15 and give that one a double bottom border. Click on your Format Painter just once and then click on G15 and it'll copy that format over. There we go. Okay, we're going to go to cell A5, hold down your control key, A15, E5, E15. Right here in the Style section, we're going to grab the button that says Cell Styles, and we're going to change that to Heading 4, just to make that beginning and ending word stand out a little better. Okay. Flipping over to page 139, the next section is going to look at conditional formatting. Now, we looked at conditional formatting for an entire set of data in the past chapters. What we're going to look at today is just formatting one cell and giving it a couple different conditionals, a couple different examples of what we can do with this conditional formatting. So first thing we're going to do is click on cell C5 because this is the cell that we want to apply our conditional formatting to. We're going to go into conditional formatting, which is right here in the Styles section. Choose Highlight Cells Rules. Now, what we want to do is we want to set this up so every time our bank balance drops below 40,000, it turns red, kind of like warning us that, hey, you are below $40,000. So Highlight Cells Rules, and then we're going to click on Less Than, because that's what we want to know. We want to know when our bank balance becomes less than $40,000. So type in 40,000. In here you can change the different colors. We're going to leave it at light red fill with dark red text and then click OK. So it's now changed it to red because we are currently below 40,000. If we go back into that conditional formatting button, we can come down to the bottom where it says Manage Rules. And in here we can edit rules that already exist. So right now it's turning red if our cell value is less than 40,000. We're going to go ahead and edit this rule. So right here is our Edit Rule button. And we're going to come over here to the right and change our 40,000 to say 30,000. And click OK. And click OK. So now that red went away because our current balance is over 30,000. Okay. The formatting is still there. And if I were to type in any number over 40,000. Let me try that again. If I were to type in any number below 30,000, it's going to turn red. Okay. Sorry about that. I had the previous rule on the brain. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that rule out so we can put in a new one. So go back here to Cell Styles, Conditional Formatting, and click on Clear Rules from selected cells. And once we click on that, nothing happens on our screen, but we've cleared out the rule that we just put in there. We're going to go back into Conditional Formatting and click on Manage Rules again. And it shows us that we have erased that rule. And we can use this box to create a new one. So click on New Rule. This time we're going to use a formula to determine which cells to format. So we're going to click on that. And we're going to type the formula in. Okay, so equals $C, $5 is less than 40,000. Okay. Now the dollar signs there tell us that it's always C5 no matter what. So if we were to copy and paste this formatting to another cell, the letter C and the number 5 won't change. Okay? Those dollar signs create what's called an absolute value. It means that cell is absolute. It's not going to go anywhere. The next thing we're going to do is click on the word format. So here we can use this format box to format what we want to happen when that amount falls below 40,000. Okay. We're going to come over here to the Fill tab and pick a color, any color you want. Your textbook wants you to pick green, so I'm going to pick green. You can choose whatever color you want. We're going to click OK here. We're going to click OK here and click OK. And you can see that now if it's below 40,000, it's going to turn green. Okay. Turn your textbook page to 141. We have one small section left here dealing with our headers and footers. If we come up here to your Insert tab, there is a button all the way over here on the right that says Header and Footer. Go ahead and click on that button, and it takes us to a different view of our screen. We're now in kind of like a print layout view. Okay. So your header is right here at the top because it's at the top of your page. It's called a header. We have 3 different sections, left, middle, and right. We're going to come over here and click on the right section. And in the right section, we're going to insert the current date. And right here where it says header and footer elements, you can see that there's a whole bunch of different things that we can click here. We're going to choose current date. And now we're going to go to our footer. So right here it says navigation, go to footer. Click on that and it's going to pop you down to your footer. This one we're going to go to the left section. And we're going to put in the file name. So click right here where it says file name. And we're going to pop back up to our header. Now you can click on the go to header button, or you can just scroll up to the top and then you can just click on your header. Okay, a couple different ways to navigate that. And that finishes chapter 5. So go ahead and save your work and you can move on to your assignment. Have a great week.